My girlfriend dumped me after 4 years, then her best friend hooked up with me. Now she's saying it was all a setup. I'm 28, and honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything that's happened over the past month. My ex-girlfriend, Julie, who's 29, is convinced that my current girlfriend, Mindy, somehow manipulated things and wrecked the 4-year relationship Julie and I had. Julie and I were together for a long time, 4 solid years of love and companionship. We met through mutual friends, and from the beginning, it just felt right. We clicked because we both loved being outdoors, going for runs, and living active lifestyles. Everything about us seemed to sync up. For the last 3 years, we even lived together, and we supported each other through just about everything. We'd even started talking about getting married this summer, and I'd already made up my mind to propose over the holidays. But then, sometime around September, I noticed a shift in Julie. She started acting distant, and I could tell something was bothering her. She seemed stressed all the time, and I couldn't ignore it. I trusted her completely. Never once did I think she was cheating, but she definitely started spending more time alone. That's when something strange happened. Around that same time, Mindy, one of Julie's friends and someone I've known since I started dating Julie, messaged me privately. She asked if we could meet up in secret because she had something important to share about Julie. I was taken aback and immediately feared the worst. We met at a cafe after work, and right away, she asked if things were okay between Julie and me. Then she dropped the bomb. She told me Julie had been talking about leaving me soon. I was completely blindsided. I asked if Julie had someone else, and she said no, but that Julie had confided in her about having doubts about marrying me. Mindy told me she felt I deserved to know what was going on because she didn't want me getting caught off guard. That news crushed me. But instead of giving up, I doubled down and started trying harder to make our relationship exciting again. More dates, more time together, more effort. Mindy, in the meantime, kept checking in and sharing more of what Julie had apparently told her. She became kind of like a sounding board for me. Then, just before Thanksgiving, Julie sat me down and told me she loved me but wanted to take a break, just a month to live on her own. She said it wasn't about anyone else, she just needed time apart to figure out if she truly wanted to marry me. I was shattered. I asked if this had anything to do with someone else, and she assured me it didn't. She said she loved me deeply but needed space to be sure she was marrying me for love, not just because we'd been together for so long. I couldn't wrap my head around that logic. I told her if she wasn't sure after 4 years, maybe we weren't meant to be. That led to a huge fight, and within a few days, we officially broke up. Our lease was ending anyway, so in December, we split. She moved into a new apartment, and I kept the old one with just my name on the lease. After she left, I felt incredibly lonely. I wasn't used to being in that apartment by myself. I didn't want to sit around and drown in sadness, so I decided to throw a New Year's party and invited a bunch of friends, including Mindy. Everyone tried their best to cheer me up, and it was a decent night. Mindy fit in with the group and hung around after the party to help me clean up. One thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping together. I felt bad about it, but I won't lie, she did lift my spirits. Since then, we've been spending almost every day together at my place. Even though I'm still heartbroken over Julie, I can't deny that being around Mindy has made me feel a bit more human again. She's been sweet, caring, and just present. Then, last Sunday, we woke up to loud banging on the door. I opened it, and there was Julie, furious and shouting. She accused me of cheating, said I betrayed her, and just let loose. I told her straight up that I never cheated. She was the one who broke things off. Mindy was still at my place, which only added fuel to the fire. Julie looked at both of us like we'd stabbed her in the back. She started calling Mindy manipulative and said Mindy was the one who told her to take that break in the first place. According to Julie, after she told Mindy about our marriage talks, Mindy kept planting seeds of doubt, asking if she was really sure about marrying me. Then, supposedly, Mindy convinced her to take time apart and told her I'd understand and respect it. But when I pushed back, Mindy allegedly twisted it to make me look controlling and told her to just end things with me. When I confronted Mindy, she denied all of it. She said those were Julie's own thoughts, and she was just a bystander during those conversations. She admitted she had told me about some of what Julie said, but only because she thought I deserved a chance to fix things. That set Julie off even more. She accused me of emotionally cheating on her. Julie said these past few weeks made her realize we're meant to be, but now she can't believe I moved on so fast after a 4-year relationship. And honestly, I'm torn. I want to believe her, but she left me. I didn't do anything wrong. Meanwhile, Mindy was there for me when I was hurting, but now I can't help wondering why she suddenly got close to me right after Julie walked out. We were never really close before, and now she's basically my everyday support. And she was Julie's friend first. So now I'm sitting here wondering, was I wrong to emotionally cheat on Julie? Should I have told her about Mindy's messages back then? Was I wrong for moving on so quickly, even though Julie ended things? I was just trying to get through the pain, and Mindy was right there beside me. I need someone with a clear head to help me figure this out. As for the top comment I got from someone named Jim Bob McFancypants, he said it pretty plainly: talk to Julie. We were together for 4 years, almost got engaged. I should know her well enough by now to tell if she's being honest. He said to hear her out, trust my gut, and even if I don't get back with her, I should consider taking a break from Mindy. He pointed out that jumping into something new just a week after a 4-year relationship ended is a lot. And he's probably right. I need time to grieve and get my head straight before diving into anything serious again. One of the comments that really stuck with me came from someone going by Vegetable Trainer 23. They pointed out something I hadn't really thought about before. It's pretty alarming how easily Mindy was able to get between Julie and me. The timing of everything, the way Julie reacted, and how Mindy seemed to be pulling the same strings with both of us, it just started to look suspicious when I took a step back. According to this commenter, Mindy gave off serious manipulative vibes, maybe even stalkerish, and to be honest, I started seeing their point. Then another person chimed in around 12:45, saying that Julie and I really needed to sit down, just the two of us, and talk everything out, especially what Mindy had said to each of us. They said it felt like Mindy had been playing both sides, whispering in our ears and saying exactly what each of us needed to hear to steer things her way. They urged me to reach out to Julie, not even to get back together necessarily, but just because we clearly still cared about each other, and Julie would probably want me with someone who wasn't trying to manipulate the both of us. They also pointed out that Julie seemed to be a victim in all this too, even if Mindy's manipulation of me was more out in the open. Another person left a pretty blunt response: if Julie was telling the truth, then I basically threw away a 4-year relationship in under 2 weeks, and over what? If Mindy really did all this, then how could I ever trust her again? According to this commenter, Mindy didn't even do this because she loved or liked me, it was all about jealousy. She envied what Julie and I had and wrecked it so she could have me to herself. And once Julie stepped back for a minute to think, Mindy pounced and manipulated me into sleeping with her. The comment ended with something harsh but probably fair: they told me to kick Mindy out of my life immediately. They said even if I don't get back together with Julie, Mindy would always be a toxic presence, someone who'd twist people and situations just to get her way. They painted Mindy as someone who doesn't care who she hurts, as long as she wins. And hearing all that really got me thinking. They also brought up something that hit home. They said that when friends open up about problems in their relationships, it's sacred, you don't go running to their partner behind their back. That's not just disloyal, it's twisted. It's emotional manipulation. And according to them, that's exactly what Mindy did. She got inside my head, played on my pain, and used it to get what she wanted. They ended it by saying I should text Mindy and end things completely. Block her on everything. And if she tries to reach out again, they even suggested a restraining order. They also mentioned that I might still be able to fix things with Julie, but it would take serious work, like professional couples counseling. An intensive one. They weren't sure if our relationship could be saved, but they were certain that Mindy would only keep causing destruction because it was never really about me. It was about wanting what Julie had. Now, here's what happened after that. I'm 28, and I had posted my original story about my ex, Julie, who's 29, and her friend, and now my very complicated situation, Mindy, who's also 28. Julie broke up with me back in December after our 4-year relationship, and Mindy slid into the picture right after that, when I was feeling vulnerable and heartbroken. But when Julie found out that Mindy had been talking to me behind her back, she showed up at my place last Sunday morning, furious. She claimed that Mindy had manipulated her into breaking up with me. And honestly, the worst part was I was a total mess after the breakup and ended up sleeping with Mindy on New Year's Eve. That mistake haunts me. After that blow-up, I told Mindy I needed space and didn't see her again. I took everything that happened and posted about it on Reddit. The response? Over 3,000 people basically called me an idiot. And you know what? I don't even blame them. But I wanted to say this: I know everyone online got the short version, but Julie and I lived through every minute of this for the past 7 months. It wasn't black and white for us. It was slow, painful, confusing. Since the day Julie confronted me, I've messaged her every single day, just asking her to talk to me. She didn't reply at all, and honestly, I couldn't tell if she'd blocked me or was just ignoring me. At the same time, Mindy kept trying to get in touch. She wanted to meet, to talk, to explain. Then, on Wednesday, just one day after I made that Reddit post, I decided I had to know the truth. So I messaged Mindy and asked her, flat out, to tell me everything she said to Julie. I told her that if I ever found out she lied, I'd be done for good. She asked if we could talk in person or over the phone, but I told her no, I wanted everything in writing. I needed receipts. That's when she sent me a long message. She said Julie had always talked positively about me over the years. When Julie mentioned we were planning to get engaged in 2024, Mindy said she was happy for us. But then, according to her, Julie started expressing doubts, cold feet, concerns about commitment, worries that came from her own parents' messy marriage. Mindy said one day Julie mentioned she wanted to take a break from me, and that's when she told me what was going on because she felt bad. Especially since we'd already started telling our families about the engagement plans. She went on to say that after Julie and I had our fight, Julie told her she'd never marry me. But the second she found out I was moving on, Julie came rushing back, not because she loved me, but because she was jealous. Mindy also said that I was a good guy and that what she and I had was something real. I didn't say much. Just told her I needed more time. Meanwhile, I kept messaging Julie just once a day, still hoping she'd talk to me. It was honestly tearing me apart inside, wondering if she'd ever respond, or if she was just gone from my life for good. Then, finally, on Friday afternoon, she replied. She said she wanted to see me and would come by the apartment Saturday afternoon. I spent the next 24 hours cleaning the place and trying to quiet the guilt that had been gnawing at me. When she showed up, she looked empty. Like she'd been drained of everything. She didn't sit next to me on the couch, we sat on opposite sides of the room. We exchanged a quick "how've you been?" but we both knew we weren't doing great. I started to apologize, but she held up her hand and asked me not to interrupt. She'd brought this little notebook with her, and I could tell she had written down exactly what she wanted to say. Julie sat down, looked me in the eye, and told me that she really did love me, no question about that. But after we had those serious talks about getting married, something inside her shifted. She started getting scared. Not of me, but of the idea of taking that next big step. At first, she thought those feelings were just cold feet, the kind of nerves everyone gets before a big life change, and figured they'd pass. So she kept it all bottled up and didn't say a word to me. But those doubts started eating away at her. And instead of talking to me, she made the mistake of confiding in Mindy. Julie told me she wanted to lay everything out now, her own words, so I wouldn't have to rely on what anyone else said about why she pulled away or why we ended. She opened up about her parents' marriage, and how it left a deep mark on her. Her mom and dad stayed together all the way up until her mom passed during the pandemic in 2021, but it was far from a happy marriage. They fought constantly. Her mom, from what Julie could see, didn't really love her dad, but she was dependent on him for everything. And her dad knew that, and didn't treat her well because of it. Julie told me she never wanted to end up like her mom, trapped and unhappy. And over time, she started seeing patterns in our relationship that scared her. For instance, when we first met, Julie had a mountain of credit card debt and wasn't the best with managing her money. Even though we kept our finances separate, I offered to help her out. Eventually, at her request, I ended up handling all her financial stuff, her investments, bills, you name it. It got to the point where she didn't really know where her money was or what was happening with it. She also mentioned how we both loved cooking dinner together, but if I had to work late, she'd lose all motivation and just eat cheese and crackers like a kid. It became clear to her that she leaned on me a lot, too much, in fact. Then she said something that really hit me. She said in the 4 years we were together, I never once told her no when it came to buying something. She felt like I spoiled her, and she started getting comfortable with all the nice things and comforts I brought into her life. And it bothered her that she was so comfortable. That's when she turned to Mindy. At first, Mindy just listened. But around September, she told Julie about one of her cousins who had gone through something similar, feeling unsure about her fiancé, and took a month-long break. After just a week, she realized she missed him terribly and all her doubts vanished. That story made an impression on Julie. So when she asked me for a break, all she really wanted was to crash at her best friend's place for a few weeks, just to figure out if she was too emotionally dependent on me. Julie also admitted that she knew I was planning to propose during our Christmas trip to see my parents, and when I told her I wasn't okay with her taking a break, she panicked. She didn't want to get engaged if she wasn't 100% sure we wouldn't end up like her parents, so she broke it off instead. Then she looked me in the eye and asked when I started seeing Mindy and how often. I didn't try to sugarcoat it. I handed her my phone, opened up the chat with Mindy, and told her everything. I explained that I only met Mindy once, back in September, and it was then that she told me Julie wasn't happy and was thinking of ending things. I had already noticed how distant Julie had been acting, and when I asked her about it, she just brushed it off with, "I'm fine. We're fine." I started feeling insecure and did what I thought would fix things. I coddled her even more, planned expensive dates, and tried to be around more. But when she finally asked for space, it felt like the final nail in the coffin. I broke down, we fought, and that was the end of it. Julie's voice started cracking when she asked me when exactly Mindy reached out after the breakup. I scrolled through the messages and showed her. At first, it was just harmless stuff. Memes, little jokes. I'd just give her a thumbs up or say thanks. Then the messages got more frequent, and she offered to talk if I needed someone. She asked about my plans for Christmas and New Year's. I told her I was having a few friends over, and she mentioned she didn't have anything going on for New Year's. So I invited her. Julie stopped me right there and said she didn't want to hear the details of that night. Then she took a deep breath and told me what happened on her end. After she moved out, she was convinced she just wasn't ready for marriage. She stayed with her best friend for a couple weeks and then moved into her new apartment in January. But it didn't feel like home. She was miserable. She missed me. It hit her even harder once she was alone in that apartment, so badly, in fact, that she couldn't spend a single night there alone. Her best friend had to move in just to keep her company. Within a week, she realized she couldn't live without me. Last Saturday, she asked one of our mutual friends how I was doing, and they casually mentioned the party and that Mindy had been there. That didn't sit right with her. She couldn't understand why Mindy would be at my party at all. That's when it clicked for her. She thought Mindy and I had been seeing each other behind her back, and that maybe Mindy had been working to split us up all along. Julie said when she saw Mindy in our apartment that Sunday morning, it destroyed her. But when she realized that Mindy had been feeding both of us different stories, she started to feel ashamed that she had been so quick to walk away from what we had, all without having a real conversation with me first. As much as it hurt her to see me with Mindy, she said she still didn't want to lose me. She kept calling herself an idiot and apologized over and over for not being honest about her doubts earlier. I moved closer and tried to hug her, but she pulled away gently. She looked at me and asked, "Are you still willing to be with me?" I told her, without a second of hesitation, that I would give anything to have her back. She said she wanted that too, but only under a few conditions. First, I had to cut off all contact with Mindy. Block her on everything. If I saw her on the street, I was to act like she didn't exist. I said yes, no hesitation. Second, she had already signed up for individual therapy and was waiting to get an appointment. She wanted us to go to couples therapy together, to talk through everything, figure out where things went wrong, and work through it all. I agreed to that too, 100%. Lastly, she said we should put the brakes on anything big, no engagement, no marriage until after we've been through couples counseling. I was completely on board. And finally, she asked me to treat everything that happened over the last month like a bad dream, something we don't revisit, something we leave in the past. And you know what? I was okay with that too. And she looked me straight in the eye and said, "And if you ever make a 'we were on a break' joke, I swear I'll punch you in the face." That was the first moment we both finally laughed again. I asked her what she planned to do about Mindy since they still worked together. She said Mindy didn't deserve any reaction. According to her, the best kind of payback would be for Mindy to watch her fail to tear us apart. She wanted Mindy to see us happy, see her wear the engagement ring proudly around the office one day, and watch her seethe with jealousy when we finally get married. We hugged after that. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I could breathe again. I had a second chance to make things right. I asked Julie to stay that night, and she said yes. The rest of the evening was quiet and comforting. We ordered DoorDash, curled up on the couch, and watched reruns of Top Chef, like we used to do. It wasn't anything big or dramatic, but that ordinary moment meant everything to me. The next morning, we talked about living arrangements. I wanted her to move back into our old apartment, but she said she wanted a fresh start. She asked if I'd be open to moving into her new place instead. Her apartment was a lot smaller than the one we shared, and honestly, the neighborhood wasn't great, but we agreed we'd talk it through more before deciding. There was also the issue of me being tied into two 12-month leases, and we'd need to figure that part out. Julie left after lunch to pick up some clothes for the week, and I sat down to write everything out. I still can't believe I didn't lose her. Despite all the stupid choices I made over the last month, she gave me a second chance. I just hope I can hold on to it and make this right for good. One thing I'm still struggling with is how to address the issue of her feeling coddled by me. She's worried she's becoming too dependent, and I know part of that is just who I am. I like to take care of the people I love. But I realize now that I need to back off sometimes and let her stand on her own. That's something I want to work on in couples therapy. If anyone out there has tips on how to support someone without making them feel smothered, I'm all ears. Update 2. First off, I just want to thank everyone who checked in on me over the past few days, those who messaged me, sent helpline numbers, or just shared some kind words. I really appreciate it. But don't worry, I'm a marathon runner. I don't give up that easy. After the big confrontation, Julie told me she wanted to try again and leave the whole Mindy situation behind us. but I could still see the pain in her eyes. I did my best not to love bomb her. I knew space was what she needed, and I didn't want to fall back into the same patterns that led us here in the first place. That week, Julie had a complete breakdown and suffered a panic attack after seeing Mindy in our apartment. It hit her hard. She ended up getting set up with an online therapist, and she's been seeing them weekly ever since. The two of us also started searching for a couples counselor and were lucky enough to get an appointment about a month later. We decided to pause our engagement plans and just focus on healing for now. Our first counseling session was intense but healing. We both finally opened up. Julie apologized for not telling me what she was really going through, and she said she felt terrible for dragging me into all that emotional chaos. She admitted that she didn't know how to process her feelings and didn't want to unload all that negativity on me, so she panicked and just shut down. I apologized too, for everything. There was a moment in that session where we were almost competing over who should take more blame. There were a lot of tears, but the therapist told us something that stayed with me. She said it was obvious how much we love each other. She encouraged us to take small, steady steps toward open communication. She even gave us exercises to try at home, ways to have honest conversations about our thoughts and feelings. When we left that appointment, I turned to Julie and told her I knew, without a doubt, that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. She smiled and told me she couldn't imagine life without me either. We decided then and there to move forward with our wedding plans. Meanwhile, Mindy didn't back off right away. She kept trying to reach out to me, sent messages, tried calling. But Julie blocked her on my phone and social media. Then Mindy switched gears and started messaging Julie directly, nasty stuff, trying to provoke her. The worst of it happened about 2 weeks after the confrontation. Mindy began posting pictures of me and her on Instagram, one she had taken during that brief time we were together. Some of them were pretty intimate, not explicit, but close enough to hurt. It crushed Julie all over again. Julie ended up reporting Mindy to HR at their workplace. Thankfully, they took it seriously. Mindy was transferred to a different department, and Julie got promoted as well. About a month after that, the last I heard from Mindy was when she sent a long, emotional email to my work inbox. I didn't even open it, I just deleted it. The photos caused a lot of unnecessary drama. We had to explain everything to our parents and friends, which was awkward and embarrassing. I became the unofficial idiot of the year in the eyes of pretty much everyone we know, though my sister might still give me a run for that title before the year's over. After all that mess, Mindy finally disappeared from our lives. We never heard from her again, and we were more than fine with that. Julie continued working through her codependency concerns in therapy. Her therapist thinks it might be tied to unresolved childhood trauma, especially after her mother's sudden death. I've been trying to gently help her take more interest in our finances, but the second I bring up money, she clams up or changes the subject. It's a work in progress. Eventually, we figured out the living situation. I was able to break the lease on Julie's apartment by paying a penalty, and we stayed in our old place for a while longer. But Julie never really liked being there after everything that happened. Too many bad memories. So a few months ago, we bought a cozy single-family home in a quiet suburb and moved there in May. I'll be honest, I don't think the codependency issue is fully resolved yet. If anything, it might have even gotten worse after everything we went through. But I love her. I'm going to keep showing up for her, however she needs me. And now for the best part. Julie and I got married last Saturday. We had a small, intimate ceremony at my dad's country club, surrounded by all our closest friends and family. It was perfect. I really wish I could post pictures of Julie in her wedding dress, because she looked absolutely breathtaking. We're heading out for our honeymoon next week, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. After everything we went through, every heartbreak, every misunderstanding, we made it. I hope that one day, 25 years from now, Julie and I will look back on this whole mess as just a small bump in an otherwise beautiful life together.